Joining me is National Senator Matt Canavan, the former Resources Minister. Matt, great to see you. Look, this poll suggests actually that the opposition is winning this debate about nuclear power. They're not believing Chris Bowen.
Well, this is not an outlier of a poll, Andrew. It's been clear for some time that the Australian people do want a government to consider nuclear energy. I think that has been the outcome of the fact that their electricity bills have been going through the roof while they're being told a lie that renewable energy will bring them down. So whatever the Labor Party likes to convince themselves with their latest mantra, we often hear the refrain that renewable energy is the cheapest form of power. That stands in stark contrast to every quarter when your bill turns up and it gets higher and higher and higher. I just had a dad today, a dad of 6 children, say to me how he put solar on his roof a few years ago thinking that this would be the saviour, and it did save his bills for a little while, and now his bill is back up to higher than what it was before he put solar panels on his roof. So that reality biting, in my view, is what has led to people reconsidering technologies like nuclear power. And it's a huge opportunity for the Liberal and National parties to say, look, we'll have the guts to back that. In my view, it also allow us to back coal-fired power as well. I think what people want here are cheaper bills. They don't really care what type of power it is. If it can bring down their power bills, people will support it.
Yes, they're like the athletes in an Olympic village, wondering what the hell the people above them, the crazies there, are doing. To Rex. Now, 4 months ago, Matt, we had one regional airline, Bonza, collapse. Maybe Rex could now collapse as well. It's had trading in its shares halted. It's not taking bookings on its unprofitable city routes. It's reportedly about to call in the administrators after losing, we're told, about $1 million a week in trying to break into those city routes. The Prime Minister didn't seem that sympathetic given Rex's strategy of trying to take on Qantas and Virgin to fly into the cities. Here he is.
We are concerned about Rex. It's an important regional airline. What we will do, though, is examine any proposals. Rex received substantial government support with no conditions attached. One of the things that I expressed concern about was that no conditions.
Well, there's a hint that a bailout will come with strings attached. What's going on with Rex and what needs to be done?
Well, look, I don't have all the answers on Rex's financial situation. It's incredibly sad for the company and for the workers involved. Reports tonight that some workers can't even book Ubers at the moment or are being locked out of hotels. It's a tough time for them, so my thoughts go to them more than anything else right now. But the problem for the Prime Minister and the government is they have proven themselves time and time again to not be a government for the transport sector or airline consumers, but a government for Qantas. We saw that last year in the inexplicable decision on Qatar Airways, and we also saw it early this year with much less publicity over their response to what was called the Sydney Slots Review. In effect, they squibbed that response and rejected any suggestion that other airlines should have greater access to parking spaces, effectively, at Sydney Airport. And that's made the environment for companies like Rex much harder. Now, I don't know if that's exactly why they've fallen over here, but it's pretty clear that Anthony Albanese bends over backwards to help the dominant player in the airline market, just as he's bending over backwards to protect Coles and Woolworths from any further stricter regulation in the supermarket industry. It just goes with a pattern here, a behaviour from the modern Labor Party that they always seem to take the side of big business.
Well, talking about patterns, Matt, the Albanese government broke one big promise, as we've said repeatedly, to cut power bills by $275. Look where they've gone instead. Now it looks like breaking this promise too, to build 1.2 million homes in just 5 years to end the housing crisis that's largely caused by having too many immigrants, thanks to this government. That works out to building 240,000 homes every year for 5 years. But new data shows that we're building only 163,000 homes. That's 80,000 homes a year short, after a 6% fall in new home approvals. We're never going to build those new homes, so what do we do instead?
Well, the math is terrible for Australian home owners or people who want a home in Australia, home buyers, I should say, renters. It's a terrible mathematic situation here. Last financial year, the Albanese government took in or allowed more than 500,000 people into this country. And as you say, we're building just 160,000 homes a year. I mean, you do the math. This is why we've got tent cities popping up all around this country. It's coming into my city now. We're seeing more and more people having to live in tents. I never thought we'd see that in Australia, but it's happened under this government in just 2 years because we're taking in far too many people and not building enough homes. Now, we need to calibrate that immigration intake to our home building. I'd love us to build more homes. I think that should be an objective. Obviously, an objective that the Albanese government is not meeting right now. But before we worry about that, we can control our borders. We saw during COVID, we can control the nation's borders. So let's control the borders and calibrate the number of people coming to this country to the houses we have available so that Australians here don't have to live in tents with their families.
I can't agree more. The immigration intake has been insane, and the poor in particular are paying for it. Matt Canavan, thank you so much for your time.